What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Scrubs podcast. I am Oscar. I've done this well. I'm joined by the regular dudes. I got Joe of Joe's Corner and Colin. I didn't do him like this anymore. I feel like I don't know how to do him. And Colin, formerly of Team ARG, or that's not how to phrase it right. It doesn't exist now that you got kicked out. So
everyone got kicked out.
Defensive. Okay, I got it. Everybody got kicked out. But anyways, if you guys want to help support the things that we do here and check out some more extra content, you can visit patreon.com/TCGScrubs. We do the Patreon podcast. We had some other content lined up. It's just been a busy schedule, so we haven't had a chance to record like the gameplays and the analysis and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to head over there and help us, get places. There's a lot of GPs announced recently. It'd be cool to be able to attend more of those. And then also Happy Little Hug Factory, you'll find a link in the description down below. You go in there and order the new starter decks. They are sold out of the set, Alice Origins 2. But you can still pick up the starter decks if you're looking to get those. They've also updated their singles list, so you can actually go there and check out all the singles from the new set, see if there's anything you want to pick up. And and
their website has all of the singles up for sale. I think TCG Player didn't. Sorry if my computer's loud. I don't know why my computer's freaking out. But their website has all the singles. TCG Player, I don't think as of right now at least, does not have all the singles. So it's cool to, if you go to Happy Little Hug Factory's website, they have all of that, so you can prepare for the new set. And a lot of it's nice just to guarantee your cards and stuff like that you might be needing for if you know what you're making for your deck and all that.
Yeah.
And make sure when you click that link, you make the purchase after you click that link, and don't come back a day later and stuff like that. Or you can come back, but just click the link again so they know we sent you over when you do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, I've been I've been sick for the past 4 or 5 days, so I'm going to be trying to mute my mic and not have it be an issue or anything if I start coughing.
No, I gotcha. So first, a little bit of info I had here typed out was a video that came out today, which was hilarious. Go check it out, from Deepwood Force return. And I'm not sure what that return quite means. If it means they're going to bring everything back from everything they did on the videos, everything they did on the website. I remember they had a website, right? Or did they have the website, or was that Grinning Remnant that had the website? And what's the difference between the two, right? I guess I never understood it completely.
I don't remember. It's been a while. There's a lot of stuff that's come and gone. So,
well, either way, check out the YouTube channel, which is just Deepwood Force and FOW. I think is how they have it typed out, and you can check out whatever they have going on that they have planned, which is cool. Which is Mike Rants and his dudes. It's cool to see them kind of make the return. Let's see. I had another note here. So we saw one of the other countries' Force World pages on Facebook share the image that showed Arla, just kind of a reminder that the third set comes out in May. And then I just kind of made a note here about the Ghost in the Shell, which should come out in April, because I believe that's when the anime on Netflix is set to kind of release during that as well.
Do we know what colors Arla's going to be? I mean, green, white?
No, I mean, there's predictions. I think I've heard green, white. I immediately thought black, white, but that's just because I'm looking at colors we were missing, dual colors, and it could work with Fallen Angels, but that'd be kind of weird. I'm not sure what's going on with Arla. It may be lore based, obviously, because they're going back in time.
Which is interesting as well, because we have the Ghost in the Shell set coming out in probably 2 months or so. But we just had this set come out, and after all the spoilers were set and done, machines are pretty strong, really, really, really strong. And so we're gonna have a mini set that's most likely just completely only machine support as well. So it'll be interesting, or maybe they'll pivot so that it's a lot more tribal in a sense, so you have more than one option for the machine deck as a route to go. So that's the route I'm hoping they're going, where it's hey, here's the Ghost in the Shell set that's very technically can be used in other machine decks, but is very tribal in the way that it's designed with its specific types of machines,
right?
It specifically interacts with void machines, for example, or something like that. So that would be cool. But outside of that, it'll be interesting to see how that interacts with what is already a pretty strong showing of machines.
Yeah, that'll definitely be an interesting set like mini set.
Yeah, that's another thing I was gonna wrap up with. Like, it's a mini set and a starter, I believe, which I'm not sure what a mini set means. Like 15, 16 cards, I would assume, and a starter that has its own cards as well. Moving from that, I had Vegas is at the end of the week. There might be a stream from Ruler School. I know he's considering, like, if case logistics don't work out when he's there, to record the games as the day goes on and release them on YouTube, upload it at a later time. So either way, we should get the gameplays coming in from Vegas during that.
And he said ideally that same day, like later that night. So hopefully you guys aren't like getting all the top 8 results and all that stuff, and or deck results and stuff like that, and wishing there was a video to go with it a week later and stuff like that. It sounds like he's going to try and get it all the same day, which would be pretty cool.
Have we heard anything more about like our thoughts about it being a 1-day event or a 2-day event?
Was that confirmed?
Nothing's been confirmed, but I mean, if they're just saying make sure you have a Saturday pass, then it sounds like it's a 1-day thing.
Yeah, I think that's for the best, because I don't think I took issue with the other GP. It was like one other GP that's looks like it's the Dallas GP is set in stone for 1 day. Mm-hmm. That's kind of weird, but Las Vegas 100% makes sense for that to potentially be 1 day, because even if there's a lot of interest, there's a cap to how many people you can have in a convention event, so that it's pretty easy to make that a 1 day event. Especially, I think this format's is a much probably quicker format, so you don't have to worry about overtime and stuff as much right now. So should be nice and smooth.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'll have to worry about overtime with the deck anymore.
So
you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, let's talk about that, because on the Vegas tab here, I had also like predictions going into this. So, Joey, what are you going in with? Do you want to talk about what you're going in with? Do you know 100% what you're going in with?
I'm pretty sure I know 100%. I haven't done a lot of like research or deck testing, and so I'm just gonna like go back on Fuji. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I'm gonna do very well. I don't have any plans. But
I was telling Oscar, because you were switching stuff, and I was like, I hope he goes back to Fuji, because then that's at least like super interesting compared to probably everyone's going to be running these sort of newer, all the new stuff most likely, or a lot of it, and it'll probably boil down to a couple different decks. But no one's going to run Fuji, so that'll be fun to.
Yeah. I just figure that's also a deck that it's the only deck that I've actually spent any amount of time like playing a bunch of. I feel like
the nice thing about Las Vegas as well, the Las Vegas event specifically, is it's not like, say, Dallas. When Oscar and I go, we're going to be like, well, let's make a decent deck, because we're doing this big drive, possibly getting a hotel if it ends up being 2 days, all this different stuff. So let's try and do good. But if you you can have a little bit more fun with your deck at Las Vegas, because if you do bad and drop out, you're still at a convention center in Las Vegas. There's no doubt. So I'm hoping maybe a lot of people have that same mindset going in, so we have a bunch of weird rogue decks going into it, and it's just going to be this hodgepodge of who knows what's going on. That would be my ideal.
But that'd be funny.
I think the big note here is that, Joey, if you go and you're the only Fuji player and that Ruler Breakdown gets released, you already know there will be people like, what? There's a Fuji? Put the Fuji deck on stream. We need the Fuji deck.
No,
and
you gotta preemptively have your deck profile and everything ready, Joey. A video.
It's not even a good one. It's not.
They're gonna. That's besides the point. Like, any tournament that's ever happened, if they saw it and they're like, what? There's a Charlotte there. Can you put the Charlotte on stream? We need to see it in action. And Jeremy's usually like, oh yeah, I think they've gone like 2-0 and we're going round 3 right now. So it's like,
yeah, the Fuji deck is 0-3, so I don't think we're gonna put it
as long as you don't play against like Ryan Miles round 1, there's a good chance you're gonna like win round 1 and potentially round 2, and then you're like on stream.
The Fuji deck is 1-0. Oh, he got like a I don't know.
Joey, you just gotta think like Waylord is all you gotta do. You gotta think like Waylord.
Why?
It's like, well, okay, so the Fuji deck, it looks like it's running. Oh, it's got some tiny dragons and some what's his name?
I hope you refine it right before when I come there Friday. We'll refine it, Joey.
It's a super simple regular Fuji deck. It's like that's nothing interesting about this deck. I don't know why it's on stream now.
Guys, he's downplaying it. He knows he's gonna wreck. He's like, I'm gonna own. Let me just make him think it's bad.
I do not wanna be on stream.
We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously machines are going to be there. Somebody's going to build machines, right? That's the thread.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be the biggest showing is going to be machines, because regardless of whether machines are the best in the format or not, the perception in the global group is that it's the big thing. So the most people usually go by whatever perceived is the best to try and get the best showing. So I think machines will have the biggest percentage showing. Whether it'll have the biggest showing in top 8, we'll have to wait and see. I think, but I think machines will be the biggest percentage.
Yeah. Well, if they're not the top deck, then what is the top deck for the tournament? What's the number one thing? Or if there's 2 number ones, what are the 2 number ones? If you could have different.
I think machines is a contender for one of the top decks. For my glossing over it.
Then what's the other one? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, it sounded like you were saying I thought machines weren't the top one, so I was reiterating. No, I do think they're one of the top ones.
I just want to point out more of the top decks.
I thought
it's going to be like machines. People are going to be. I feel like they're going to try and play Persia, because I think there's a lot of potential there.
I think Hanzo might make a comeback.
Yeah, the other 2 or 3 decks that have always been strong, like Hanzo, Cloaky stuff,
yeah,
and Susalis and stuff like that. Like I feel like what has been top is like there's gonna be a couple people playing that. I don't know if those are gonna top 8. Maybe they will. I feel like I don't know. Looking at some of the strength with machines and seeing what combos people were kind of laying out and being like, oh wow, like that's a ridiculous amount of actual damage on turn 2 and turn 3, and it's like, oh, they're really stacking what they have up. So I feel like machines is going to be there, and then I don't think there's a lot of people haven't really nailed down a Persia deck list, but I actually think that's going to be possibly even stronger than machines.
I was going to ask you that about her. Is she going in just beast or going in sacred beast? Is it more difficult to run the Sacred Beast, seeing as there are all these different colors and she doesn't have all the access to all the dual stones yet? She would have to I hope that she gets the addition at taps and put it in.
Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't even played or put together a deck list with her at all, so I have no idea what she, in my mind. I feel like with the support for the Sacred Beast, it could be a really good idea to go with them. But realistically, I don't know.
I don't think it'll be will it be with or without Sacred Beast. I think it'll generally be there's 2 versions of the deck that are both good in their own right, and one is all Beast and one is Beast and Sacred Beast. I think we could see just 2 equally powerful decks that go that route, because there's so much support for Beast and good Beast that it's on its own. It's good enough without running 4 Sacred Beasts, but the 4 Sacred Beasts are so good with their own support and with the addition and with the other card that pulls them out and stuff like that, that running them isn't a weight on Beast. It works as well with that. So I think there'll be 2 versions of the deck that could be equally as strong.
Yeah, it's there's the Sacred Beast deck definitely won't just be Sacred Beast. It'll have all the other beasts. All the other good beasts, which I don't really know which ones they are yet. I haven't actually done a dive into what cards she could play. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't know, there's a lot of ways I feel like you could go with her, especially because the new Huang line, I don't think he brings out all 4 Sacred Beasts, right? He just brings out I forgot what he does.
I think he searches for one that doesn't already exist in the field.
Yeah.
Something
So it might not even just be a bad idea to keep from getting mana screwed. You just maybe play green-red Sacred Beast and then play maybe the blue one, because I think the blue one is really, really good because it bounces, right? Guys? No?
Yes.
Okay.
I was thinking Colin, I was looking up the long.
Yeah. So my thing is you could just play red, green, blue Sacred Beasts, and I don't know, just go with that, because the white one I think it's possibly not really needed, and that saves you from getting locked out of mana or anything. Yeah, that's just my initial musings. I have no idea what they're gonna do with her.
Yeah, I'm curious on the speed and stuff of it as well. Like, what wins in the matchup between the Persia and machine deck specifically as well.
When Stadium Girl in chat said Shotkey Sword Art Persia. So you double the sword arts.
Yeah.
And Shotkey's already red, right? She's just red, or is she red black?
She's red, black. But I mean, you could just splash in black. Like, you could play like a red, green, black deck and have, you know, all the whatever you might need from black. Like, it could just be Shakti. You could also keep in Levantine, I think. Does Levantine trigger off of Persia at all? Like,
it does.
Does she get green regalia, or does she get red regalia?
That's a good question. I actually don't know that.
I think it's just green regalia.
I think it was. I'm trying to remember.
So maybe not Levantine, but anyways. I still feel like Persia probably wouldn't be able to hang against I don't know, machines. Like, so my other thought was that I actually think that Valentina has some like really amazing stuff. I just don't know what kind of deck you would put together with her.
I liked some of the stuff I saw from Valentina as well, all the black blue stuff, but I think that still right now the smarter option is just to throw it into a perfect Loki deck and just run it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the quick cast speed regalia and getting all the stuff off quick cast speed regalia is like really good. So
that's true. That quick cast.
Like, I think that's the only reason I think Valentina could be, you know, a potentially good deck. But we'll have to see. I mean, it's all kind of like, it's all like super fresh, and also it's like, are people going to be able to get the cards for all these decks in time?
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing, because like there was pre-releases and they can get some cards from pre-release, but then it's like when y'all get there that weekend, like, are they gonna be able to have them? Like, because a lot of people order online with the way things are lately, or you order at your LGS, but your LGS
you won't be able to get
Friday. And
best case scenario is you could get some boxes, but that doesn't guarantee the singles you want, especially with the new box design. Your odds are you're not going to get. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I think because of that, people might default to old decks.
Yeah. Like, I bet, you know, some of the top pros like you know, the regulars and stuff, like they could probably get all the cards needed, but you know, it might be more challenging for like Colin and I to try and like scramble together a machine deck or something. Yeah. You know, or the perfect machine deck, which, you know, might require like Maribel, which ends up being like a $25 card, and it sells out, you know, super fast. So yeah.
Yeah, the Maribel Type 0 might be. I mean, we had I went through, I mean, is it 2 boxes worth of a pre-release kit? Like there's 3 boxes in a kit, so I got through 2 of the boxes worth of packs, and it was only 1 Maribel Type 0 out of all of that I pulled. So it could be harder to get. There's still like 22 more packs left, and I was waiting for Colin for that because of the way we split this. But I think so too. I think we'll see the old stuff, like Adam might be there, or, you know, Hanzo decks and things like that. Because like let's just pretend world. Colin, out of your machine deck, because you've run machines the longest, how different is it for your machine deck to be updated from where it is now to where all the new stuff's out?
I think it's kind of difficult, just because, like I had mentioned during the spoilers, which we'll have the final spoiler video coming out probably maybe the day before this, I don't know, but they're very specifically about supporting Maribel Type 0 and generating tokens and stuff like that, which isn't really relevant in the current machine deck. So I don't think there'll be a couple things, but I don't think the current iteration of machine deck is going to alter any at all. All it's going to do is create a new type of machine deck that'll pull some old machine cards to support this new type of deck that it's created. So I don't think it alters the old type of machines hardly at all, outside of maybe a couple support cards, and vice versa. I don't think there's that big like crossover that we usually see with when it introduces more support for an archetype.
Is it still running Arthur? Is it running Hanzo? Is it going to run Machina? Does the ruler change?
The old one?
Like right now, you need to build a Machina deck. You have access to all the cards. You're going to Vegas this weekend. You're going to play. Like, which ruler are you going with?
I would still run Arthur because I like the cards that support Arthur, like that, the Arthur Resonator. And there's some new cards that actually interact with Arthur since he's a machine just passively on his ruler side, as well as some of his runes that are specific to him I like his Master Rune and stuff like that. So I think I personally would stick with Arthur just because changing that would start to change the way that I built the deck and designed it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would go the opposite way. I would say like the big deck that's going to be a scene is like the new Machina Maribel type deck. So yeah, I don't know. That's just my
definitely.
Thoughts. What was I gonna say?
But yeah, no, I think I'll be curious because I'm not quite sure what to expect. So the main thing I'm curious about, not necessarily what decks are going to make in top 8 or what the spread is going to be. I take it back. Not what the top decks specifically are or anything like that, but whether it's going to boil down to like 2 decks in top 8, or whether there's so many people who don't know what to do combined with people who don't have cards that top 8, it will just be a hodgepodge. And because of it being the first weekend, it'll be hard to even like tell what the meta is going to be because no one's able to fully get the cards for the meta. So that's a really good point. So I'm just curious like what this is going to look like. I feel like it's going to lean more towards the hodgepodgey than like the boil down to 2 decks, just because of all the different circumstances going on right now.
Yeah.
But that's the main thing I'm curious about.
I'm also curious about something else. This is gonna backtrack to something else. But do you think there's been enough to this point in playtesting and seeing decks and understanding things to be able to go back to opinions you may have had when the first set released that I'd be curious to follow up with? Like, or is there not enough yet? Or it's gonna be like, no, I don't. I'm going to like your concern over is it Red Guinevere with Alter and Layla, like, and Rookcake. Like you had a pretty big concern. Like I think both of you did, right? Like that is going to be this really strong thing. And I was like, I don't know, is it just too much to cram into a deck? Like following up on this.
To be fair, I still think it's super strong. I'm pretty sure if I remember right, I did caveat of like the only reason it wouldn't be strong is because they're printing stuff even stronger, which is a separate issue. And I think that's straight up what happened.
But like the stuff that's stronger that's printed hasn't really come out yet to affect everything. I'm asking like as we're at now with everything that everybody's been playing with, did it end up being the threat you thought it was? Because
that was during that spoiler season. Yeah. Guinevere and Rookcake weren't the last spoiler, so I think they're even within that spoiler season stuff came out then.
So you think during it you changed your mind? Is what you're saying?
Slightly, yeah, because
so they're not like the threat you thought they were.
They're a threat, but there's other threats that are worse that are in the same color palette, which gives you incentive to not necessarily run that threat. It's like, hey, I have a card that deals 1,000 to your face, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's super broken and OP. Everyone's gonna run that, and then 2 weeks later, a spoiler comes out that's like, hey, there's a card that's the exact same, but does 1,500 to your face. Like, the other one's still broken, but like no one's gonna run it because this one's just objectively a better thing to run. It's like that type of scenario, I think, with some of the stuff we're seeing. But I like the Guinevere egg combo is still something people should run in a lot of their decks, especially at the local level, because I still think it's strong. But yeah,
what deck does that go into?
It would go into like Joey's Fuji deck, I guess. I don't know.
He doesn't know where it goes.
It doesn't fit into Persia, and it doesn't fit into the goddesses. Like
or Machina.
It'd have to be in its own type of deck.
Well, that's like the whole point of this is that the deck that it would have been in, which was like the Alter combo, the Layla Alter combo deck, like died because there's just better stuff that got printed, and people found out that like Zeus Alice is so oppressive and like strong that people were just like, well, let's just play her, or you know,
we're like seeing the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh in real time. It's
so yeah, I think.
Wait, I'm gonna rewind for a second. What you just said didn't really make sense because when we got Zeus Alice, right, and that was like in DBV, and then we got the whole Guinevere Rookcake thing. But then even during that is when you had said, yeah, no, y'all both said this is really strong, it's really strong. But with what you just said made it sound like it wasn't because of everybody wanting to run Zeus Alice instead, but that came out previously.
Nobody was really running like Zeus Alice to the extent I feel like they are now. I don't know. Maybe I'm like 4 metas behind. But like when the spoiler seasons were coming out and everything, I don't think Zeus Alice was as prevalent as like prominent deck as I don't know as I thought it was. It's my thoughts though were definitely that like so it's like my argument is that I thought that this was going to be a big thing because I still thought Layla Alter was one of the top decks, but really Zeus Alice was the top deck, and so it doesn't really care too much about Layla Alter or anything. So yeah, if that cleared that up.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Like I thought when we were talking about it, I thought Zeus Alice wasn't as strong or it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, or as dominant of a deck as it is now.
You just weren't in touch with the kids, is what you're saying.
I wasn't aware of the meta and what.
Yeah.
I mean, same now. I guess.
That's fair.
No, yeah,
but
I get that.
Yeah, as far as like whether or not I was wrong about like Zeus Alice or Rukag and Guinevere and Layla and stuff, I'll definitely say that I feel like I'm more on the side of like Colin, where as far as like the set review was, like I still feel like that's one of the more powerful things in the set. I mean, Melgus was also like a lot stronger than I thought, but like I guess I was worried about that, and then there's just been other stronger strategies that people have been coming up with and creating, where it's like, oh no, like you shouldn't run Zeus, or you should you shouldn't run Guinevere and Rukag because it's too slow in the Melgus deck. You actually just have to run these guys, and it's like 5 times faster than what you were doing with that. And it's like, oh, Layla Alter, that's like way too slow now. It's actually like not a good combo anymore. You actually have to just run Zeus Alice and get out your Yokai Festival, and like that's the new thing now. So I'll definitely say I was worried about it, but my opinion's definitely changed on it.
Yeah.
Same as like with this new set, like I don't think there was anything that came out until like lately that I was concerned about, but I definitely think that machines went from like not like, I didn't think they were that strong, and then like more and more stuff kind of started coming out, and like people started like putting together combos and stuff of like, oh, you can do this much damage, you can flip and do this at this point, and it's like, oh wow, that's like insane. And Persia also, like I feel like she kind of ramped up to be like, oh, like once we started seeing like half of her cards giving friendship counters, and like how strong that might be, it's like, oh wow, like these decks are like packing a lot more punch than I originally thought they were going to be good.
Yeah, no.
Given you had access to all the cards, I forget what you had said already, and this might be just me having you repeat it, but you have all cards right now. You're going to the GP next week. What would you have preferred to have run? Having things
like
is not an issue.
If I had all the cards and I had like, because like I feel like having all the cards wouldn't really matter too much to me. I would have to have tested like decks and like actually kind of prepare. Like sorry, I really haven't prepared for this as much as I should have been. So I'm like going into it really, really poorly. It's like, oh, it's a GP, and it's like the big chance and stuff. But I don't know. I'm just not as like hyped and like into it and like prepared to like win. Like I haven't been going into it trying to like win or top 8. So I feel like I'm like, if I had to choose, I'd probably just like, if I had all of the cards, I feel like with some of the information that's like been coming out and what people are like, oh, you can do like 3,000 damage by this tourney with machines, I'd probably go machines. But like, if somebody had found something with Persia that was a super broken combo where they're like, oh wait, no, like the Persia deck is doing this stuff, so you know, you guys really have to kind of watch out for that. I'd probably go Persia or something. Like, I would have to test more and see. My main issue is that I'm just not comfortable on, like, I would probably play like a Zeus Alice deck or something if I was comfortable on it, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna, you know, play what I'm comfortable on, because I think that's gonna be a better idea for me than trying to like master a deck that, you know, I haven't played like 3 times before.
Yeah.
Honestly, sorry. I feel like we were talking about like cheeses and stuff, right? And
like American cheese?
No. Like, I remember saying like,
cheese
oh
place?
man, we could like, yeah. like you know, cheese.
I know you love cheese. Yeah.
Vegas with machines or something. I don't remember, but yeah, I'd probably.
There's a lot of cheese stuff you can technically do with a lot of different cards in the news. So.
Actually, my other thought too was whether or not like the Mototoko cheese combo that actually has like blue and black stones now, so it doesn't necessarily have to run Shadow of Kronos and stuff. Like, if that's going to be a really popular, you know, slash played deck. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I just want to catch up on a couple comments here in chat. And Insanium Girl saying playtest for success, and Fire Drake also saying playtesting is always a positive. My favorite one here.
I feel like it's low key calling Joey out.
Well, there's another one calling him out. Rand Dragon saying Joe's killing me with him saying like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, playtesting. It is important. I know you didn't get a chance to, but I know like Fire Drake's always there to definitely help.
Oh yeah.
Help out.
No, it wasn't like I didn't get a chance to. It's just I wasn't motivated to like really do it. Yeah, like I definitely thought about it a bunch during like the past week or two. And, like, man, I need to like get Oscar on, and every time we're on, I throw a bunch of decks at him. And
I really wish I could be on more than I am now. It's just with school and getting out at certain times. I'm like so stressed out with certain homework assignments. Like, I had to calm myself down yesterday, just to be like, all right, something doesn't get done. It doesn't get done. Luckily, I only have one critical thing to get done by Tuesday. So,
yeah, no, I have a couple projects I'm going to be finishing this week that you guys, some of it you'll see right away, which I'm pretty excited for, and then one of the others you'll see I have no idea when you'll see it, but I'm still excited for that too. But once I'm done with those, I'll get back on the train of like I wanted to do some deck profiles and different things like that. So I'm hoping after this week I'll be doing not only normal content but a lot of extra content.
My big excuse is that I got sick, and then like it's just like different things. It's like, oh man, I should probably like play like Runeterra and, you know, finish like missions and stuff, you know, and try and like make a decks in there, you know. And then Jeff, I got my 10 Shoku cards, and like
Oscar did also.
Yeah.
I went through them, and I was like, I can't like get into this because it's like I feel like I have to have like, you know, 2 other card deck games. I'm trying to like do and for, and it's like
no, I know it's
too
like
much. It's like I'd love to just get down to like, okay, I'm gonna make a deck of this, and it's like
no, yeah, I know what you mean, because I have like that. I'm trying to understand like Runeterra and all the cards, what they do. It's like then you got this on the side. It is a lot to take in. I want to go back to what you were talking about what you wanted to run. Cause I thought it was, like you said, like as you saw things come out, it changed your mind. Because I remember was a week 2, there was a point where you're like, hey, I want to run Valentina. Can you give me the cards? And we're like, I don't know if we can get the cards or not in time. And now it's like,
so at that point, I thought Valentina with her quick cast, Regalian stuff, and all of her like bouncing and like control, I thought was potentially really, really strong. So yeah, I think originally I wanted to run Valentina, but like seeing, you know, the tail end of what Persia and Machines got, I feel like I kind of want to go with Persia. Like, I think it's just like Machines, you know, you look at Machines and it's like they've got a lot of really strong like barrier stuff now too. So it's like you could even run like Motoko and Machina. Like Machina gets a barrier too if you have what's her name out. So it's like there's just like a bunch of insane like it's just there's a bunch of insane decks, but it's like, okay, well how does Persia match up against something that just like has a bunch of removal or something? I have no idea. It's like, does Valentina actually have enough control to get to face like a machines deck? Like a lot of that stuff's gonna have barrier. Like, can she handle Zeus Alice stuff? So yeah, it's just that kind of stuff where it's like Zeus Alice I feel like would possibly kill Valentina, because Valentina can like bounce him, so I don't know if that even matters. I don't know, Also, it's like I didn't actually look at all this control stuff that Valentina could possibly do. It's like, if you do play Valentina, what's your end game? What's your end win con and stuff? So with machines you have Maribel and Machina, and with a Persia you have Sacred Beasts, and just pumping them to like be like 1700 damage beasts now. So it's like those are pretty clear. But it's like, what does Valentina do? I don't really remember all this. Like, it's just I just really haven't done the homework on any of this stuff to really give like good answers. I feel like, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And Espeon fan said Motoko and machines is annoying. And Fire Drake said putting her in /section 9 in Lucifer, which is pretty interesting. And the AC Machine Town plus her plus that machine that give the machine all the symbol skills it has. Oh, the one that you give it. And inside of the cluster is very scary. I think that's in general pretty good, because is one thing I for some reason didn't think about, is like you could quick cast in response, give that guy barrier, which gives all your machines barrier and stuff like that, or eternal and stuff like that. So there's some interesting plays there.
Are they gonna be eradicating the infinite combo?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
Because like
Jeremy said they were.
Like,
or not. We don't know the solution, if they're going to errata, do a temporary ban or what. But he said they're doing something.
Yeah, because I would totally run that for.
Which we should probably know about that soon. We have 5-6 days until the event. It's very important for deck planning. If there's an infinite combo that people should be aware of and build your deck to counter or stuff like that.
And what was the infinite combo again? That's ESPN fan asking that in chat. I forget what that was.
It was.
You got.
Well, hold on.
I think it was Guinevere.
Hold on. Let me. So you can do it with Guinevere or with
Machine Guinevere.
Yes, you can do it with Machine Guinevere, or you can also do it with Machine Vivian. I just wanted to point that out. And then.
Can you?
Yeah, and then you guys can take it.
And so you have the 2-cost addition machine, which you put a 2-cost machine from your graveyard into the field. So you have that addition, and you have that addition in your graveyard, and so Guinevere sacks that addition
in the field
for the other addition, and when she does that, she gets counters. And when the other one enters the field, it grabs the other one, but in response to it targeting that, you banish it for Guinevere's ability. It goes to the graveyard, and then that just keeps going as many times as you want till Guinevere's is 68 million, whatever attack you want it to be, and then you swing in.
Right, I was thinking about a completely different combo, so my bad. But yeah, I don't think it. I think it would work with Vivian, because she gets counters every time another machine enters the field, right?
If Vivian's on the field at the same time as Guinevere.
No, I'm dumb. Sorry.
But,
I'm thinking of a completely different combo.
Yeah,
people were talking about.
If you have Vivian on the field at the same time, then yeah, she's becoming a god as well.
Yeah,
but
it's just Guinevere. You have to have the 2-cost machine one. You have to have 2, right?
And it's actually a lot easier to do that setup for it now that you have Maribella's work or whatever the card is. That essentially will be like a free draw 2 inside of machines and some other stuff like that to help support it. I think it'll be easier to break into that combo, even if it's like later in the game. If you have any type of removal, or if you have a flyer and your opponent doesn't have flyers, or if you're able to give something pierce, different things like that, you're able to essentially get that combo off.
Yeah, and I mean there is a little bit of like you can break the combo kind of easily. Like if they drop it like and they start the combo, like you can stop them at any point by killing Guinevere. So
Well, you don't even just let them play out the combo and then swing in. You could quote Guinevere as well.
Right. I'm just saying like if there's any.
It's not necessarily stopping the combo. You're just killing a resonator.
Well, no, because
I think stopping the combo would be like using like a Lorite to cancel the additions and her ability. That's more cancel. I think.
I mean, I don't think that would it? Because
that would stop the combo in its trash because you need that enter effect to happen. But Laura doesn't exist, and Erendite doesn't target that, and you can't chase the banish effect with Erendite or the other thing. So it's sort of, I don't know if there's a good counter to it right now outside of just destroying Guinevere.
Yeah, it's pretty much just killing her. My point more was like if they get the combo off, but it's also triggered like Vivian to be super huge, or Lancelot. I don't think Lancelot does it, right? No. But like there's other machines that benefit from machines entering the field and stuff.
So, well, yeah. They're just talking about how quickly, like how early of a turn you can get this going. But yeah, later in the game, the more you can like do some weird stacking combos as well. But I'm sure they'll fix it because that should not exist. But yeah. Or actually, what else? What was the next topic, Oscar?
That was it. Once you were done talking about all that, I was going to say, lead into the last thing that we were going to do.
Well, and also leading into that, one thing as a correct, or not correction, but an update to our last week's conversation about GP dates and stuff like that, it was confirmed that the GP dates that are announced are all we're getting. So that's a little unfortunate just because you could probably get away with 4 GP dates, but I feel like they're squished together so much. There's a huge gap of no events, so I would have much preferred if it was 4 events were more spread out.
Yeah.
And but I mean, it's not too. I'm glad there's one in Dallas at least. That's my biggest thing. So I'm sure if there wasn't one in Dallas, I'd probably be more upset about there only being 4. So they're a little bit of bias there, but. I'm a little disappointed because that is one of the smallest GP seasons we've had, and it's all kind of squished up. But and you asked any GPs in Australia? I don't think they've announced any because there's 2 in Canada, 4 in the US, and then
I think
1 in Mexico.
No, there's none in Mexico.
Okay.
And the only other countries I've seen post, I believe Germany posted, France posted, and that might be it.
So I want to.
Oh, one second before you do that on the GP things. Like
okay.
I do believe too, like 1 or 2 more would have been close weekend, but hopefully whenever you see the second bite round circuit, whatever that may be, would be cool because like I just feel like there's like that little buffer period between next week and May to see something pop in there. So it'd be cool to see what Vite's new circuit series dates are when it's available, I should say. Because Colin needs to earn his invite because I already got mine. Where you at, man? Oh
yeah, that's right. I'll just show up and be like, I just want to watch. But
yeah, so we're gonna lead in the last little bit. It's just kind of Colin taking over it. This is in response to comments made last week. One comment that made last week that he just wanted to follow up with. So
well, I guess as in a general thing, because I saw this in several comments and also other stuff, it probably didn't come across, but Oscar and I had a debate last week about the price of promos. I felt it came across that I was being slightly like exaggerative. It was my point wasn't so much that the cards will be $5. I stuck to that just because I thought it'd be funny. But my point was more so I don't think they'll all be above $20. That was my end point. I mean, the bet still stands. Like, I'm gonna probably lose that bet to Oscar, but I'm fine with that. I just want to point out that was meant to be like slightly tongue in cheek. People were like getting mad at me, like, "Oh, you think this would be $5?" and stuff. I was like, I guess if you guys don't listen to a lot of the podcasts or don't hang out with us, that's just something I do a lot. Is I'll just argue.
He had me fooled, guys.
He had me. Like,
my point, my end point in my head wasn't that there'll be $5. It was that I don't think they'll all be above $20. It was my goal in my head that I was trying to get at by using a very exaggerated
Colin completely
point.
Goes to the complete. He's all black and white. He's like, no, like guy, especially when we like talk and like argue and stuff. It's like no. It's all gonna be like this. Even though he needs to like walk it back and like lay out
Joey should know. Just ask Joey subs or dubs. It's very very not black or white for Joey.
It's funny because I like rewatching Gurren Lagann. I was kind of like, man, I actually kind of want to like watch the sub version more.
What? Get out of here. I think Gurren Lagann is a perfect example of a dub being better. But anyways.
It is a really good dub. I just feel like the dub wasn't the issue. It was like the script sometimes. It was
like the that's understandable.
It was like, oh boy, like, I don't know. It was so weird. But
going into this comment, so there's this long comment. I saw this and I was like, whatever, because, I get, people don't like me, which is understandable. But this guy was saying stuff that was straight up wrong, so I was like, I should reply to this. So this would be my low portion. If you guys hate when I get mad about stuff, then you can go. But one thing I love, I love this. He opened with, number 1, Oscar seems very rational in this video. Kudos to you, sir. You appear to look at things rationally and use your head to try and figure out what's happening. I like that because it implies Oscar usually isn't like that. So I just thought that was hilarious. Due to the side note, he said Colin sounds like a jaded ex-girlfriend whose butt got hurt by the company. Which I want to, before I go into the specifics of what he said, I just want to say, if you guys have been watching this channel, I want to say, like, I've made it very clear, I don't like the new company and all that stuff and stuff they've done. I don't think I've consistently been as angry and negative as I was like when Sherry was around. I feel like I was a lot more negative during that stint, and that was with the old company. And I did the same thing with Persia OTK was around. Like, I feel like I've been pretty consistent about not being happy with the things the company does.
The Seal GP.
Yeah, you just go back to the.
That was Ichi's idea. So he was pretty upset. And I think the best part of the Seal GP was you're like, oops, these aren't that no more. Only thing ever affected was Dallas, which is the one we went to.
Yeah. And Espeon fan asks, why do I hate the new company? It's because, one, they fired Iji, the CEO, and Jeff, and anyone who associated themselves with the CEO, which I think, outside of Force of Will, I think that's just dirty business practice. I know it's Japan and whatever, but just from an ethical perspective, I didn't like that. And then when they switched, they scrapped all the work that Jeff and EG were trying to do, and that's when they switched to DBV and had the messed up distribution, and that's how we got the new cluster with the smaller boxes, which I'm half and half, and all the reprints, which I'm not a fan of, and stuff like that. Like, and that's when they took away all the paid invites without telling anyone, and almost scrapped Worlds. They had to be convinced to keep Worlds. A whole bunch of different things. You could probably get a good summary of it with some of the interviews we did with Jeff and stuff, and there's other stuff I probably can't say. But he said minute 26 in the podcast. He's talking about the podcast in case you guys want to check. Colin said the promos will be $5 each. Oh yeah, I just addressed that. I'll skip that. Minute 32, Colin says that he does not prefer if you get one of 5 promos, like an Argent Saga, which Argent Saga you get an envelope with like 5 promos that are randomized, and versus Force of Will, where you're going to get all the promos guaranteed. And I said I didn't have a preference, and he said this literally makes 0 sense. I don't care if I get one promo from those 6 or all 6. This is head-shakingly stupid. That one I take issue with, because I went and rewatched. I prefaced like 6 times that it was my personal preference, that I don't care which one. I'd be happy either way, as long as they don't reprint or don't introduce new cards that you can only get at the event, which was me actually being critical of Argent Saga, which people have, commented that they think I'm too positive about Argent Saga, which I definitely haven't been. And that was literally me being critical of that. And me just saying I don't have a preference. And Oscar has a preference. He likes the way Force of Will does it better, which I think is 100% understandable. I was just saying, me personally, I don't have a preference. I was like, that's weird. He went on this thing where he said, when company removed paid invites last year, I did a half a video bitching about it and saying they needed to bring it back. And now I say it's a pet peeve that they brought them back and people are excited about it. Not what I said. If you go and rewatch it, I said it was a pet peeve that people try to justify them taking it away and now are excited that they brought it back. I was upset that they took it away, and I made a point in last week's podcast to say I was excited that they brought him back and that this was actually something good I liked that the company did. Like, I was just pointing out that I was consistent with it, and it was a pet peeve when people weren't consistent with it. I'll skip some of the sort of him getting mad at me right there. Pissed if they were gone, annoyed if they were back. I'm not annoyed that they're back. I went out of my way to say, I even made a point of, like, people still aren't going to be happy with me that I'm excited about this new stuff. And he pointed out, if you guys remember, I said 6 times that this is my favorite thing the new company has done. And I said the batch of promos is like a genius idea the old company never did that I think is super smart. And he went on a thing of I'm not sure if I know how corporate split works with CEOs, but there's massive buyouts, so it makes sense that they had to tighten stuff up and do all this stuff, which I understand, but it wasn't like a company bought it out. It was literally they surprised the CEO at a meeting and kicked him out on a whim I can't remember if the details are public or not, but they kicked him out with a bunch of other people and decided that they knew better and have all the exact same financial stability because the company that was in charge of it is still in charge of it technically, so there was no financial transaction that happened there. So they're at the same spot and stuff like that. And if you guys want to say anything, you can interrupt me at any point, by the way. And he said, I also love how you think it was not the company's decision to give the players these promos, but a shady third-party person whispering in their ears telling them what to do is nutty. That's super exaggerative of what I said. I said, I'd be curious who told him this, because this doesn't sound like, based on the pattern we've seen, this is something the company would do. And based on everything I've heard, both publicly and not 100%, I can almost guarantee this was not the company's idea. I would say I'm 90% sure this was not anyone who works in the company's idea. If it is, I'd actually be very pleasantly surprised because that means they're making a turn of how they previously treated Force of Will. And lastly, there is a whole diatribe of how we should title our videos about how I'm bitch about stuff. Which
I don't know.
Okay.
I like the title. Read the title. Read it.
His title was 2 guys discuss amazing GP season announcement and insane player support while Colin tries to find ways to bitch about a good thing. I went out of my way so much to say this was my favorite thing the company has done, and this sounds in some ways even better than what the old company did. He said a thing of I'm bitching about it being Ubers and not alternate arts. I specifically said I personally prefer alternate arts, but this Uber idea is a really smart idea, and I really like it, and it's a fine replacement. I just personally prefer alternate arts. I don't know if I always did in the podcast, but in general, I've been trying to preface my stuff better with personally versus objectively and stuff like that to try and get across when it's my opinion and all that. And I'm pretty sure I try to make a point of I personally prefer alternate arts over these Uber themes, but these Uber themes are super cool, and I like them. But
the way you say it, these Uber things, whatever they are,
they're cool. We've been asking for Uber resonators since Persia, and the old company never gave it, so that's a plus on the new company that they're giving us this. So I don't know what you want from me. I'm just trying to be consistent. There's probably times where I'm not consistent, and I'm sure people have called me out for it, but and real quick to go over the comments, being less negative than when Sherry was around doesn't say much. Yeah, but Sherry was toxic and literally killed our locals, so I stand by everything I said with Sherry, including saying they needed to ban her, because if they didn't and tried to ban other cards, they would just end up banning her in 2 months and it'd be a mess, which is what happened. So I'm more neutral. SBN said they're more neutral with the new company. I hate Force of Will Company. Yeah, that's fair. Like, I'm not saying the old company. I'm not saying was like this paragon of greatness. But
a lot of mistakes.
I'm just saying I preferred what the direction the old company was going in with Jeff and EG. What they're trying to do in the tail end, like the last 6 months before the change, I felt it was doing a lot better in design. Like the last cluster made me play sealed and enjoy sealed, which if anyone who's ever watched this knows, I despise sealed formats, and it made me enjoy it. So like, yeah.
Sorry. I didn't see the comments, so I'm like going through it now.
Yeah, I was trying to catch up on it. Yeah.
It's pretty rantingly crazy.
Dallas or
I didn't know
Collinsville?
People have an issue with you, Colin.
Randragon76 asked Dallas or Collinsville, which is going to be bigger. I think Collinsville.
I think so too.
Is going to be bigger by a long shot. Dallas it historically has been bigger, but there's been a shift, and Collinsville is being run by Games and Geek, who are really good with support and stuff like that. So I think those are just going to be better up there. Fire Drake said I'm slightly positive for the new company. Yeah, no, I mean they're doing stuff that does appeal to a large part of this base, as you've seen people coming back and stuff, which works for a lot of people. I'm just saying, for me personally, that's not my stuff I would like.
I have to side with Colin. Like, it doesn't matter what the new company does. Like, I like Jeff, and as far as I am concerned, I like EG, and like I liked where they were going with all their gameplay and stuff. Like, so I'll always say like the new company is not as good as the old company. I don't know if I hate them. Like I from like all their decisions and stuff, I really don't support anything that they do. And like all the sets that have been coming out are all like kind of they're all like cut and paste. Like, this is what you're gonna play in your Persia deck. This is what you're gonna play in your machine deck. This is what you're gonna play in your, and I don't like that. So honestly, I'm still not a big fan of the company. Like, I like Jeff too much, and I really like what he does, and I'm still not happy that they fired him and did all that stuff. So yeah, I'll never like the new company. Like,
yeah, and my reasons also, like, is a lot of behind the scenes stuff of like I'm in the same boat of like I don't think I'll ever like the new company because the people who are in charge of it, from everything I've heard, I don't like that just from a business standpoint as well. But but like people don't necessarily need to like agree like, oh, the new company's bad, because people are enjoying the new stuff, and that's fine. Like, it's just my opinion on it. Fire Joy was saying reprints are both good and bad, which I agree with. Like I've said quite a few times, I actually like the idea of reprints. When Oscar and I played Pokemon, I like the way they did reprints. I don't like the way Force of Will is doing reprints, where it's like so many reprints. It's like ridiculous.
And unusable.
Like,
in
2 to 5 reprints per set that are good cards that coincide with other stuff, and that makes it so certain cards like Lightning Strike are pretty much always in circulation, similar to how some cards are like Ultra Ball and stuff in Pokemon. I'd be down with that. That's essentially what they were doing before with the Thunder transitioning to Lightning Strike, and say what's his face becoming Sacred Elf and stuff. They did a version of that, which I always thought was weird. Like, why not just reprint them? Like, I like the idea of reprints. I just don't like this path they took with it. But Fire Dre said we Americans have a tough time with the sounds of a typical Japanese company, which is true. Which is why I like the old company that had Jeff, because they realize they're an international company and need to, in order to appeal to other markets, appeal to the international markets, how they perform and stuff. Which, if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. Casters chose not to do that, and they pretty much didn't make it in other countries, but I think that's partially because they didn't really care if it made it in other countries. They focused on Japan. Force of Will is trying to be international, though, which is why I still think it's better if they appease some international audiences who would like communication, or at least explanations, and more importantly, not be told like 17 different times that we will get communication, which is straight up lies, and then not communicate. That's another reason, the thing I don't like that New Code did. But
Yeah. I did want to comment one last thing is like on my stance on it was like, yeah, I liked Jeff, but where I stand with Jeff now is I had to separate him from what he was with the company and just see it as Force Will company on both sides, before and after.
Yeah.
And do I prefer the new one? It's like, I don't know where I stand on that yet, because like, do I like some of the things that they've done? Yeah, they've brought back, they paid invites, they kept the worlds, they have worlds next year. We have I don't know if I want to call this a fix, 'cause I'm sure there's people still having issues with it, but like for the most part, promos, people are being able to get them and make sure that they have them. And if they're not able to get it, then they know where to contact and who to email to make it actually happen. And it looks like it's actually somebody responding and being on top of it. Like, unfortunately, for me and Colin, like, I was the one who ran our locals for one of the 2 different locals that run in Austin. They ran on different dates, but because like a school I stepped out and nobody organized that anymore, so we don't get to go play for school anymore because of that. And I don't know if I would be able to go all the time just due to school, but it's like at least they figured some things out, and hopefully they figure some more out. Some things I would like to see that going forward to not have happen is no more of the cookie cutter sets. And then no more memorias of these giant, massive reprints. Like, hey, if the set is 60 cards, it's a 60 card set. You don't have to buffer it. Just buff it. Just make it look like a 100 card set. It's just like make it a 60
which
card
ruins
set.
the polls.
And then
and the
textures would be cool to see come back as well. Like,
yeah, like Espeon fan really doesn't like CFC when it wasn't full art. Mm-hmm. Saying like, as long as the new company doesn't do what happens with CFC, they'll be fine. Well, I was not happy with CFC, especially me. I like bleeding out my deck, and so that was always a tinge on all the decks I built, especially since I did Millium and stuff, which pulled from CFC. But on the reverse side, which I've been very vocal about, I hate that they took away texturing for this new cluster. That was one of my favorite things. That's and they didn't replace it with anything. It's not like they replaced it with the old gold Force Will stamp. They were just like, hey, it looks like you're full art commons now.
Yeah, and if it's a cost thing,
if
it's a cost thing, it's like, I get it, and then maybe at a certain point we get it back, which is what I'm trying to get. It'd be cool. Like, I get if it's about money. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else? Because now I'm gonna wrap that up here.
No, I would just like as far as like I just wanted to like say like I just felt uninspired with like. Since the new company took over and since they've been releasing sets, I felt uninspired with all of their like card designs and stuff, especially with this entire format has felt uninspired to me. So like So
it's
so
by definition the design of the cards is what you can like them. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but it is by definition uninspired because they're copy pasting the layouts of the cards across them, which. Some people like because it's like, oh, you can insert this stuff here and here, and it's easier for people to come in, new people to come in, because they're able to know how different rulers work and cards work just off the bat. And there's that type of looking at it, but yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, and to finish off the comments real quick before you wrap up, Oscars, don't care much about texture, not fire. Drake said, well, yeah, I didn't preface, I guess, that time, but yeah, no, that's me personally the thing. Like, I love texturing, so as it like now, I'm not gonna clean out my decks for the most part. There'll probably be a couple I might try to, but like now I'm not gonna go to secondary market to buy singles. I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy extra boxes and hoping to point forwards because that inspiration just isn't there to like, oh, I could pull something cool and full art looking and all that stuff. I wish they would introduce the stamp because I feel like that's cheap enough for them to do.
I like the stamp.
Yeah, but like if you guys like regular fort, that's fine. But just me as a personal preference, I would definitely would buy more boxes and singles when there's textures and stuff like that, and I like chasing those down. So, but that's just something that I not do anymore. And I know there's other people who are similar, but obviously we're probably a minority. But yeah.
But if you guys liked what you saw and you want to join us live, I forgot to mention this at the top of the podcast, but the comments he's reading is from the messages on Twitch. If you wanted to join us, twitch.tv/TCGScrubs, live Sunday nights at about 9 p.m. Central if we can. And we'll see you guys next time.
I'm excited we got some comments and stuff live.
Yeah. I like the live feedback because it allows us to talk about stuff, and also I can allows me to clarify things that like last week. If people were commenting, I might have been able to clarify some stuff that and stuff like that, because I don't always know if what I'm saying is coming across the way it is in my head and stuff like that, which people get mad at me a lot for, which is understandable. But yeah.
Thank you guys. We'll see y'all next time.
All right. See ya.